die the momentum behind them. We can't let this momentum behind these issues die. These are crises that are affecting tens of thousands of people. I mean, like I said, tens of thousands of people are dying without health insurance. How do we make sure that Biden is held accountable in some way for these crimes? Okay, well, I just don't accept that.
It doesn't matter whether you accept it. You think he's going to be held accountable before he dies? The man's old. He's going to die powerful.
Not held accountable in like a criminal sense, but like in the sense that someone's part of the conversation calling that out and making the case for the position that is universal health care.
Then do it in the damn primary. Has it occurred to you that if a Green Party opponent started meaningfully challenging the Democratic establishment, they would pivot to being more conservative to distinguish themselves from their opposition? Like, think about it. Hillary Clinton shifted leftwards to appeal to people who were sympathetic to Bernie's message, but historically, when Democrats do poorly against Republicans, they have a tendency to shift rightward to try to capture votes they consider to be in the center. What if running Cornel West not only strips votes from Joe Biden, but gives him the impression that he's gone too far left if he has to fight for voters with somebody like him?
No, I don't think so. Because
they've done it before.
The Democratic Party is already they want to shift as right as possible anyway, without our presence in the electoral equation, without any sort of a progressive. How?
On basically every level, the Democratic Party has moved left in the past decade, since 2016.
Okay, but I still don't think that with like.
Oh, I was just going to add, that might be, with that being said, the Democratic Party, if you look at the actual party principles or whatever the it is that they list as their priorities every year, that might be true, that you can document that it has gone dramatically to the left. But Joe Biden himself has actually opposed a lot of those, even innocuous, moves to the left that the Democratic Party has conceded on, right? Like he has not taken marijuana off the Schedule 1 drug classification, which a lot of people undermine, but it would be a step in the right direction for the ending of the drug war, right? And it would be something that he could do with a pen stroke. He did not. The Democratic Party says they believe in a $15 minimum wage. The Democratic Party says that they believe that we should have infrastructure that works in this country, and instead, because Joe Biden let himself be played so goddamn badly on purpose by the Republican Party, that they separated the United States, the Build Back Better, and whatever.
So they moved left. The parties moved left, and Joe Biden is more progressive on a lot of issues than Obama. He's not progressive enough by the measure of the party, and what that means is that outside the actual electoral process, there's been a shift in what the American people want, and that's the work that really needs to get done. The Democrats aren't good about winning, but there is a relationship between the interests of the electorate and the behavior of the party and the people they run and the people that get voted for.
Vosh, do you concede that you have Stockholm syndrome?
No, not even remotely. I think that the argument that
you don't think that the Democratic Party is holding you hostage?
No, because what you think that so this is the critical difference in thinking here. You think that I have a limited perspective on this because I have accepted the nature of the duopoly.
I don't think you have a limited perspective. I would wager you're smarter than I am, Vosh.
Well, that's not a competition, but you think that my perspective in this is in some way tainted by my preconceptions here. I disagree strongly. I think that as a socialist,
they're already getting a head start.
Of what electoralism
Cheating.
can and can't get us. See, the trap of electoralism, this is what led to the death of all the European social democratic parties. The idea that electoralism on its own is a viable mechanism for these giant lurches in social priority, the death of the corporate duopoly. This is huge stuff we're talking about. But, as is the case with capitalism, which makes commodities of all which criticizes it, so too do all challenges to the corporate duopoly eventually get folded into it. The populists folded into it. The third-party candidates pushed out of it. Everything that can make a change doesn't, unless they're talking about something other than the duopoly. This is the nature of institutions, right? Institutions seek first to protect themselves. You're not going to uplift this with anything other than revolutionary violence, man. And if you want to talk that, that's fine. I don't think that's immoral. But insofar as we're talking about voting and electoral results, I just want to focus on stuff I think that actually can be changed. I don't think the duopoly is going to be ousted in any meaningful sense by voting for Cornel West. I think that there's a real risk of Joe losing with people voting for Cornel West over him. And if you want to make challenges within the electoral bubble, then do it as a Democrat and endorse Joe after you inevitably lose. That's what Bernie did, and Bernie's great.
Sure. Yeah, once again, I think that what it comes down to is that I view the presidential election as a great time to do activism as it relates to all of these issues. I view presidential campaigns as a good vessel to get those issues out there. And ultimately, I think that the duopoly has to be protested because it will keep enabling fascism. A lack of democracy is always what's going to lead to fascism. And when we continually have to choose between two fake choices, one that's pre-selected by a corporate neoliberal party and one that's just a literal fascist, that's always going to yield a fascist, like 50% of the time. And if you have a, do you have a better way or idea to protest against the duopoly or protest to get ranked choice voting that doesn't involve actually participating in third-party electoralism? Because again, I don't understand how we're going to even get a call out there for election reform as it relates to first past the post and ranked choice voting without some presence of third-party candidates.
If you
without
want to sell to the American people the importance of third parties, you're going to have to do it in an environment where the Democrats aren't our literal only hope against fascism pulling the country. You're doing this in the worst possible environment. The only time voters are going to really care about third parties and about ranked choice voting is in an environment where they feel like they want to have choices across a wider band. But right now, in an institution where there are only two choices, two meaningful ones at least, the Democrats represent the pushback of fascism, or at least the delay of fascism. In this environment, people don't care. People don't want to talk about it. So let the Republicans lose. Let them lose ground. And when they're less relevant than they are now, maybe we'll see more change. That's what happened in 2016. Obama carried the country for 8 years, mostly calm, and the Republicans
Wait,
hadn't
what are you
gone as
talking
far
about?
right as they
Obama
are
carried the
now.
country for 8 years, then we got Donald Trump.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point precisely. They didn't know. We got Bernie Sanders back in 2016 because Democrats didn't feel as though they were warring off against an existential threat. They felt they had room to choose, to hope for more. But Donald Trump won because, well, Hillary Clinton was a shit candidate.
Because they cheated the progressives. See, this is
Well,
where I
no,
think
no,
it
no, no,
becomes
no,
like a
wait, stop.
go-round,
Wait, don't
right?
fold everything into the same narrative. It doesn't matter why Donald Trump won. What I'm talking about is what gets people on the left to vote for more, to vote better, you know? They voted more, they voted better because they
Sorry,
had 8
guys,
years of
should have stayed
comfort
with
that
you.
made them think, what if we could get more than Obama? What if we could get more than milquetoast neoliberalism? And Bernie Sanders was that hope. But now, people don't have room to care about that anymore because the party line is so huge and the threat of loss is so great. That's why more and more people are voting for who they think is the most electorally viable. That's why Joe Biden won more in 2020 than he did in 2016, even though the average American sided more with Bernie Sanders' points in 2020 than they did in 2016. The perspective shifted to Bernie, but the votes didn't, because people are scared.
I would argue that, though, is because of the mainstream media, specifically MSNBC, basically just working as a propaganda arm of the Democratic Party, turning voters against Bernie Sanders and doing propaganda
They did that in
nonstop for
2016.
Joe Biden. Right, and I'm just saying they had 4 more years to do it and to brainwash people against Bernie.
No,
to tell
no, no.
them-
People agreed more with Bernie up to 2020. Like
No, that's what I'm
the
saying.
average
They
American.
agreed more with them, and because of the media, they were brainwashed against voting for
No,
him because
no,
they
you're
were so
missing
scared
it.
of Trump.
You're missing it. People were scared. They were scared. That's why they said they voted for Joe Biden.
No,
Electoral
Mosh, I'm
chances.
saying they were scared because the mainstream media made them scared and told them that if they wanted to defeat if they wanted to defeat Donald Trump, who they were afraid of, then they had to vote for Joe Biden because Joe Biden was more electable than Bernie Sanders, which wasn't even true. Bernie Sanders would have beat Donald Trump the first time around. He would have beat him in 2020 as well. We wouldn't have had Donald Trump in the first place if the mainstream media hadn't fear-mongered about Bernie Sanders and done the Bernie blackout, refused to cover him in the first place.
Why do you think
Like,
people were more susceptible to fear-mongering about Donald Trump in 2020 after having experienced his
Could have went
presidency?
around.
Well, I also
Or
think that
dying it.
COVID-19 and how he absolutely, completely set up by every conceivable
we gotta
metric
keep him
had a lot to
inside.
do with it as well.
Yeah, I agree. I think that Trump was a shock to the Democrat. Trump was a reminder that Republicans don't just represent neoconservatism, they represent something far worse. And now that that threat is laid bare, they can't do this faffing about this, oh, well, what if we had something nicer? What if the world would be better? No, they just need to win. So they're very susceptible to arguments of electability, you know? So we need to pull them out of that. Make sure the Republicans aren't so much of a threat that electability is the first and foremost concern for Democrats in a primary season. If Republicans are largely irrelevant, that it's mostly a fight between Democrats in a primary, then electability isn't the main concern people will have when voting for candidates. They'll be more concerned with who they actually like. And in
Right.
that environment,
But
Let's get down.
Gavin's mic'd up because this is a broke boy podcast. Vosh will be right back with you in 1 second to continue making his point.
Of course.
I think I'm good.
Proletariat.
So, yeah, like I said, Bernie Sanders had a higher approval rating than Joe Biden. His positions were more in line with that of the American electorate, not just Democrats, but across the table politically. The positions that he was running on, a majority of Americans support. He was by far the more electable candidate over Biden. And if we didn't have basically half of American media
Raj, get your
acting
fucking
as
ass in here.
the arm of the Democratic Party, then people would have been educated as to that fact. And if the Democratic Party actually cared about democracy and winning and beating the fascists that we all care so much about defeating, then Bernie Sanders most likely would have been the nominee. We never would have had we never would have had Donald Trump in the first place, and we wouldn't even be having this conversation.
You
But-
do realize that if that's the argument you're going to go for, then voting third party is the worst thing you could do for third parties, right? Imagine a
How
news
so?
day that'll play at MSNBC studios, you know? We face an existential threat from Donald Trump, and these leftist voters are throwing their votes away on a third-party candidate who's mathematically incapable of winning.
All right, I need
We
the
third
shield.
parties now less
Come
than
on.
ever.
Come on,
Look what
boys.
third parties
Gather
did.
up.
Now here's a second Trump term, and here he is doing fascism. And oh, look at that. Look at all these people who voted for Cornel West. Wouldn't it have been nice if they had voted for Joe Biden? You're setting yourself up to be the fall guy for the worst presidency America's ever seen since, I don't know, Andrew Jackson. It could be so much
Good
worse.
shit.
If you really think that if it's all like, well, the media says this, the media says that, then you're anyway. You're not outdoing the media. I think you're outdoing
Well,
CNN.
that leads me to
MSNBC.
another.
God damn, they're far ahead. What the fuck?
Which is that we have to build our own
Oh,
independent
God.
media ecosystem outside of the mainstream media, and that's
Come
no. Listen to me, Vosh. That's another thing that I think that the Bernie Sanders campaign represented. That's underrated. That's not talked about enough. But that as someone who works in the sphere of progressive online media has seen the effects of more so than probably anyone watching. Obviously, you understand this as well, being in the same space. But one of the most depressing things to me about the end of the Bernie Sanders campaign was watching.
Bro, get the
not
fuck
only
in
the
here, man.
dissipation of the
What are you
momentum
doing?
behind the policies he supported, but also kind of the dissipation of the energy in the online space, the online media space that popped up as a result of his candidacy. The flourishing online ecosystem of independent.
guys, really
left-wing
need some help
content
here.
creators and
These guys have
newscasters
busted my shield.
that basically, like I said, only exists as a result of Bernie's campaign. In the absence of Bernie, a lot of that enthusiasm has dried up, and that's another reason why I think it's important to have some aggressive, progressive voice on the national electoral stage, someone like Cornel West making the case for these policies, so that maybe we can see some more interest and enthusiasm, at least in the online space, around
The barrage
politics and
died.
around
Fuck
a
'em.
progressive vision.
You want a media structure to pull more votes away from Joe Biden, and you think this will endear people?
I want an independent media structure so that we have at least some way to push back on the mainstream media, which is completely captured and controlled by the duopoly and by corporate America in general.
To
We
be
need
honest,
independent media.
my
You don't
experience
think we
with
need independent media?
my experience with independent leftist media is that on average they're wrong more often than CNN or MSNBC. So I don't know
Wow.
how much stock I would put in independent media as an advocate. I mean,
Same
people
area
in
defense?
America have more left-leaning
Where?
positions than we did in 2016, and there are more left-leaning candidates in both local and federal offices. So I think that there is still work being done to advance these on a local level. Certainly, I just don't think.
I think that's crazy, Vosh, because
what's
like,
true?
we both do this for a living. You don't think that what you do is valuable? You don't think that like having an ability to reach people that otherwise would just have to read mainstream media is valuable and preach the progressive priorities that we care about and try to make people's lives better? Like what we're doing is a response and a necessary pushback to the monopoly that the mainstream media has on discourse and Americans' understanding of our political landscape and conversation. I think that an independent progressive movement absolutely buoys the ability for there to be an independent progressive online space. And yeah, obviously
Shit,
there are
enemy
crazy
dino.
people online doing
They're
independent
all
content.
crazy.
I to an extent, sure, but
Fuck!
I'd still much rather people be watching like Vosh, Kyle Kalinske,
God damn it.
and David Pakman.
Thought I had my shield up. What happened
Those
there?
are the ones I like. But say two people that have been praised recently by Cornel West are Glenn Greenwald and Russell Brand, two fascists.
I did have my
like,
shield.
I
What
don't
the
know. First
fuck
of all,
is
I don't
this?
think he's a good advocate or a judge.
Alright, I probably wasn't just paying attention there.
Representative for independent online leftist media is.
God damn it, it's
And for
texting me.
two, like, you know, I agree we should have media power for sure. That's a non-electoral way of getting our message across.
God
I think there is
damn
value
it.
in that. But I just don't like this, like, you know, okay, well, the corporate duopoly controls literally everything.
Fuck.
And our only way of defeating it is creating somehow this, like, grassroots institution that is more powerful than it. You know, like, but, like, separately, but then we fold it in, right? Like, you'll never match the money or media coverage of the GOP or the DNC. The most success that people on the online left have been in influencing Democratic politics, in promoting progressive candidates, Justice Dems, that kind of stuff.
No.
In advocating for policies
Good
that are on the
shit.
left edge of what Democrats can get done. Obviously, you know, if it was just up to any element of left-wing political engagement, then you'd say that, like, well, the communists have done this and that, but there's no communist representation in U.S. government, of course. We have to work within
Fuck, man.
what can be done. We have to meet the voters where they are.
Well, you mentioned the Cornel West talking to Glenn Greenwald and Russell Brand, and I think that's actually interesting because it kind of is evidence contrary to your notion that he's only going after Biden voters. The fact that Cornel West is speaking to the audience of Glenn Greenwald and to the people that watch the Russell Brand show, I think proves the fact that he's trying to build a coalition of disaffected, independent, Democrat and Republican voters, people that might otherwise have voted for Trump. So if he's going on Russell Brand's show and Glenn Greenwald's show, making the case to a majority right-wing audience for leftist policies like Medicare for all, and maybe convincing some of them to vote for him instead of Donald Trump, then I think that's objectively a great thing.
Oh, that's a bad thing. Because when he goes on those shows, and I know because I watch them, he does his spiel. You know, corporate politics bad, both parties bad. You know who thinks corporate politics are bad? Nazis. They think the Jews run.
Unbreakable.
No,
You can't
no,
say
no,
that
no,
Cornel
not
West
come
is a
on.
Nazi.
I mean it fully. I think Glenn Greenwald and Russell Brand especially have plenty of Nazis who watch them. For
Oh,
sure. These
nice.
People just as conspiracy-minded, biases towards anti-Semitism. Yeah, and I think that when you go on essentially a far-right platform and you go, oh, you know, well, both sides are bad. I think that that's
No.
incredibly
Let's go, baby.
No, that's what he does.
No, Vosh, what
I
he
think that's
does is
incredibly
say,
irresponsible.
if there are, and I'm not necessarily denying it, but if there are Nazis watching Russell Brand and they hear Cornel West and they hear Cornel West say, hey, I also hate the banks, for example, or the corporations, right? And the Nazi hates the corporations because they think Jewish people control them. But here's a really intelligent leftist academic explaining why the actual reason why you should hate the banks is because of capitalism and you know, corporate exploitation.
Nazis
and
hate
real
capitalism
reasons.
and corporate exploitation. They hate the guys.
So
for
you don't
doing
think it's
those.
important to you know, explain to people legitimate reasons to be angry at the system
the
and
Nazis
push back on?
They have legitimate reasons. The Nazis
No, they
don't.
don't.
Need, oh no, they
There's
think
not
they
any
do.
legitimate reason to be a Nazi. There's no legitimate need to be a Nazi. What fascists do is they exploit legitimate grievances that people have with a society that's unequal or unfair, and then they scapegoat it onto Jews or Mexicans or whoever the, you know, marginalized community in question is. But I think it's actually very valuable for someone who's good at communicating and someone who's
They
as
already have
intelligent.
the narrative. Trust me, I've argued with a lot of Nazis. You have to be careful with how you engage with this. Because if you go up to them and you're like, oh, I'm here to engage in good faith. Now let me know. I have
Yeah,
concerns
they
with
both
corporate
kinda look the
duopoly,
same.
this
I
and
get
that,
this
you know,
T-Rex.
explaining the problems with capitalism. This doesn't work. See, the
Munching
problem
on
is
that
when you're
guy.
talking to a fascist or a Nazi, the only acceptable ideological position is one of complete opposition to everything they are and everything they say. If they say they agree with you on something, no, they don't. They're lying. You don't trust them. After all, if they agreed with you on something, they wouldn't watch Glenn Greenwald, a fascist. Like this is the tweet that Cornel West put out for that. I was blessed to be in dialogue with my brother Glenn Greenwald. We discussed a variety of important issues from Ukraine to the hypocrisy of both the Democratic and Republican parties. What hypocrisy? Well, I know, because I watched it. The hypocrisy associated with corporate politics and a rejection of populist ideology in spite of people's interest. And you'll never guess which far-right group thinks the Republican Party has rejected populist influence and is instead up and cozy with capitalist oligarchs. See, that's the thing.
Yeah, but I
You
think
gotta
okay,
be
so what-
careful.
I think that just because Cornel West engages in conversation with Glenn, we've engaged with conversations with Glenn.
I have too. He's called me a pedophile. I've called him a child adorer. Yeah, I've had good dialogue.
Yeah, so
with him.
you know what I'm saying, and that doesn't make any of us fascists, right? That, you know, and look, I massively disagreed with Glenn with a lot of the support he seemingly showed for Bolsonaro at different times.
Yeah, that was
We've
interesting.
had massive disagreements over a number of things, but I don't think that Cornel West went on there and agreed with him over any of the things that I would take major issue with. I think that what he did was he went out there and he said, you know, basically his campaign platform, right? And I think that as a candidate, you should want to get your platform out to as many people as possible. And I know that you're, more competent than the average person at debating Nazis, right? But I think that Cornel West also has a lifelong of being a black liberation theologist. He has been a civil rights leader his entire life. You know, this is a guy who has faced the actual onslaught of standing up for his beliefs. He was denied tenure over his solidarity with Palestinians. I mean, this is a guy that's stuck his neck out there time and time again. I think to just lump him in because you disagree with the host of a show that he was on with some of the most vile people that walk the earth is a little bit egregious, don't you?
Well, that's why I call him a crank, not a fascist. I don't think Cornel West is a fascist. I think that people on the left are really bad at dealing with fascists, though. In fact, the more time passes, the more I begin to think that liberals are the true bulwarks against fascism. Because every time I go online, I know it's sickening. Every time I go online and I see engagement with anti-fascist dialogue, I see leftists.
What are you assholes doing? We
Right,
don't
right.
need another witch
Jump in
doctor.
really quickly because this is an
They're
absolute
both
problem, and
changing.
this is actually funny enough. We're going to find some harmonious agreement here. I think that there is a massive. I think that there is a massive amount of people on the left that we've experienced and dealt with that have been manipulated into believing that they are still leftists while supporting like literally nothing that an authentic leftist would support. Right?
That's why I actually like you two. I actually mean that. I mean, we disagree on a ton, sure, but
Sure.
on some, but no, I like that because like the Jimmy Dore types or whatever, where there's this like I'm sure a lot of people who watch Jimmy Dore think they're left leaning, but like holy shit, right? That term, that belief has a lot of leeway. I guess in my experiences, typically, I notice that if you're on the left and you're talking with a fascist in like with some camaraderie trying to find solutions, it's really easy to agree on problems and really hard to agree on solutions. Because if you talk about I did this with Charlie Kirk. I was talking with Charlie Kirk and Tim Pool show. I mean, Tim Pool, you can do this with him as well. Where Tim Pool loves to play this bullshit, right? The corporate oligarchy is terrible. Politicians buy our or corporations buy our politicians. All this phony, populist, shit. And then you talk with them. Like, well, okay, so what are your solutions, right? So you think that corporations control this country. Great. Higher taxes, maybe higher, capital gains tax, corporate taxes, personal taxes. That's one. What if we nationalize big pharma?
Damn, I forgot how fun Sky is.
Sure. Because in reality, right, when you see anti-big pharma
Beautiful.
Republicans, they're not anti-big pharma. They're not anti-corporate profits or oligarchy. They're anti-vaccine, right? So then you ask, okay, so what do you want to do with that? And it just turns out they only care about the vaccine. This is the issue I have.
God damn it, stay in one fucking place, Ranger.
Cornel West. I don't think he's a fascist. I think he's got a lot of great political positions. But man, I mean, Russell Brand just had DeSantis on as like a run piece for his campaign.
Fucking birds. Fuck you.
Also, Vosh, when Bernie Sanders was running for president, something that
They're dead.
myself and a lot of other people in progressive media gave him a lot of credit for was going on Fox News and speaking directly to the legions of right-wing voters who were watching Fox News and making his case to
And
those
what
voters.
did he say? The Democrats and the Republicans are both terrible.
No, but he made a lot of
duopoly.
cases against corporations and Wall Street and a lot of the other things that you would chalk up to just being Nazi dog whistles when the right wing has an issue with
But
this
he
group.
never shit on the Democrats. He
He's
never
an
did it.
independent.
Bitch,
He's
get
not
this
even a
heel.
Democrat.
When he was running.
Right, but he was still an independent. He was making the case against the corporate Democratic Party constantly.
All right,
Especially
we got a
in
big boy.
2016.
But when he was running as a Democrat, the way, and I saw these
Krieger's
clips when he talked
get
on
in there.
Fox News, the way he talked, the way he expressed himself was that he would talk mostly about solutions, what the American people want and needed. He ran as a Democrat, and he didn't do this like the corporate duopoly, the hypocrisy of the Democrat Party, because as a Democrat, he's running for the Dems against the Republicans. Why do this back and forth thing? Why do this equivocation if you're trying to support one side over the other? Well, in truth, there's no reason to. And
Good shit.
Cornel West is
Fucking his ass up.
so he wouldn't have to. But that's what I take issue with. Can't come at the cost of Democrat viability. Bernie knew that. He was careful with his language. He would criticize institutions for sure.
Get
but
in
it
that
was
corner.
always very structured. It was very purposeful. He never gave anything away or ceded to the enemy.
Right, and I actually
Good
think that,
shit.
that was one of his biggest missteps.
killing
I think
it.
that he should have ran against the Democratic Party way
No.
harder. In the same way, Vosh, that Donald Trump ran unapologetically against the Republican Party. He said, I'm not going to endorse the nominee if it's not me, and they're rigging it against me. Of course, they weren't rigging it against him. They were rigging it against Bernie. Bernie actually had a legitimate claim to having
got
it
a
rigged
bot.
against him. And he basically just went, he went along. And I think he should have absolutely made the Democratic Party one of the bigger villains of his campaign. I think he should have try to, get more non-Democrat voters as part of his coalition, because clearly the ones that he were after were too drunk on MSNBC propaganda to think outside of the box.
If you really believe that center and right-leaning voters would have been easier gets for Bernie Sanders than MSNBC liberals,
Joe Rogan said he was going to vote for Bernie Sanders.
Joe Rogan is an idiot. Joe Rogan has 85 IQ.
Exactly.
No, he'll
So
say
many people are
anything.
idiots.
He'll say Joe Rogan is an anti-vaxxer who gives
Vosh.
credence to far-right conspiracy theories. Who said he'd vote for Bernie because Bernie was the one who showed up to talk to him.
Exactly.
Okay.
No, Vosh. He said he was going to vote for Bernie, and a lot of people in his audience would have done the exact same thing because they just had the knee-jerk reaction that he was the most anti-establishment candidate, which is actually what a lot of people do vote on. That's why Trump was so successful. And Bernie absolutely would have got a bunch of Trump voters and a bunch of libertarian voters and independent voters because they actually felt like he was anti-establishment, because they actually felt like he was being honest with his critiques.
He did well in the Joe Rogan interview, but he didn't shit on the Democratic Party the way that you wanted him to. So he did well in spite of doing that. I think he was able to come across as authentic and engaged without having to lose ground in that fashion.
But here's where I think that the maybe there's a little bit more of an explicit lie that you would agree with. The fact that he continuously talked about how Joe Biden was oh, my good friend Joe. He refused to call out Joe Biden explicitly on the debate stage for, his comments on wanting to cut Social Security, right? Like, he was just like, oh, people can Google it, right? He should have hammered him directly for that, because I think he was too scared of,
The Republicans would it.
Yeah, I honestly, I think he was too afraid of being blamed for it.
Good
right?
shit.
He didn't want them
They're
to
still fighting
turn
their
around and say,
Triceratops.
oh, you weakened Joe Biden so
alright.
much, and then still lost,
We can
and
wait.
now Donald Trump is president. But I also think a byproduct of that was that he didn't follow through on his swing.
I
You know
gotta
what
do my
mean? I
emote.
think that Bernie
Hot
Sanders
and cold.
definitely made contact with the ball, but he didn't follow through on his swing, and so it kind of chipped away his opportunity.
But that was smart.
Where I think you could call it smart in the sense that he was playing it safe. He was playing it safe, but he didn't give it the final push that he would have needed to himself become the nominee, because he was unwilling to slay the dragon.
Imagine if he had been ruthless against Joe Biden, had lost the primary, had said he's not going to endorse Biden, had criticized him relentlessly, and then Donald Trump went on to win in 2020.
Oh,
You realize that
Birds
would
are
have
not
set
the
back
focus
leftist
here.
politics for half a century, right? Like Bernie Sanders would have been the effigy that MSNBC liberals burn in their fireplaces every year. It would have been over for us. I know it sucks that we have to cuck ourselves out in electoral politics and play nice and
Shit.
play the game and everything, but those are the rules. They're skewed against
I'm
us,
dead.
but those
Fucking
are
birds.
the rules. We can't not follow the rules because they exist for a reason. Namely, that if we don't follow them, things turn out worse for us than if we do.
Thank you,
That's
Krieger.
why I stress doing
You're the
more
man.
other venues, because we are very much on the back foot here. We do have a chance to do something meaningful within the electoral system, even if Joe Biden is.
Damn,
winning
Krieger, you got a lot of
the
health.
primaries.
Get
And
over
that
there.
is not go fascist. And I consider that an incredibly worthwhile goal. I mean, far more so than as I said, the difference between Bernie and
Should've
Biden
used that already.
is infinitesimally small compared to the difference between Biden and Trump. I think that is something worth engaging in and being proud of. And we'll look for opportunities to change things for the
Damn,
better.
that was,
More progressives
kind of
than ever
not
are
that
in
good.
Congress, and more Democrats than ever like progressive policies.
I'm still doing better than them.
Really
Let's go.
are doing something.
Right. Well, I also just wanted to push back a tiny bit and maybe defend Dr. West a bit, because Dr. West actually did vote for, or he endorsed Bernie Sanders in 2016 and 2020. Zach and I actually saw Dr. West speak at a Bernie Sanders rally right before the Iowa caucus in 2020. And
God
then
damn it, I missed.
endorsed Joe Biden after Bernie Sanders lost the nomination. So Dr. West is someone that I think understands the fact that the Democrats do represent a lesser of two evils. That's why he voted for Joe Biden and encouraged people to do so. So I don't think it's really fair to treat him like he just is this crank who doesn't understand the difference. I think he does understand the difference, and I think he saw what the Democrats did to Bernie Sanders, the campaign that he was part of, and like I said, was basically being a surrogate for at the time. I think he saw that and came to the conclusion that, well, the Democratic Party is not a viable way for progressives to make progress because of what
But
they
Bernie
did.
did. He
Right,
shifted the
but he didn't get
discourse
the
massively to
nomination,
the left.
And Yeah, and I think Cornel West can potentially, hopefully, do the same thing because maybe if this was 2016, he would have run as a Democrat, but he saw what they're doing to Marianne Williamson. He sees the fact
We have
that they're
two
not
bots
letting there
now.
be debates.
Oh,
He
just
sees
one.
The fact that they're not sanctioning any sort of an actual primary. So I think his thinking is, well, if that's the case, then this is the only way to get my talking points into the mainstream. This is the only way to get these priorities on the table at all.
Have more luck doing it running as a Democrat. As the third, first of all, he's not going to get 5%. But even if he did, he would get a smattering of a few million from the federal.
Jesus,
financing.
bro.
He's not on the
Got
debate
flung.
stage that people are going to be watching. Like, think about it. The Libertarian Party has more money put into it than he would get with federal funding because the Libertarian Party is associated with a lot of wealthy think tanks. How many people watched the 2020 Libertarian Party primaries and
Shit.
its subsequent address in the general? It's not like corporate media is under any obligation to host an official debate.
All right, I'm gonna freeze him.
Trump and Cornell and Joe Biden, right? Like he's just going to be on his own
Dumbass.
stage alone with one person.
I mean,
to
Ross
go for it.
Perot got on the debate stage as an independent candidate in the 90s.
This isn't a Ross Perot situation.
I'm just saying it is possible for a third party or independent candidate to get on the debate stage.
If the
and-
corporate media wants them to, sure, but the Libertarian Party candidate hasn't before, even though they've received more money than the Green Party stands to gain, just because the Libertarian Party has a lot of wealthy people who donate to it, the Mises caucus, whatever. So I just it seems like the outcome here is that the best case scenario is we're sacrificing
I got you, Krieger.
electoral viability for Biden over Trump in order to get a fraction of the
Back
public
up.
discourse power
Yeah.
that the Libertarian candidates get.
I feel you, man. I just think that the duopoly is one of the
I'm coming down.
aspects of our country that
One
needs
level.
to be fixed the most. I think that it directly enables and leads to fascism over and over again, predictably, like clockwork. And I think that at some point we have to stand up and demand more options. And if that means fighting
Jesus
to get
Christ, we
third
got it.
voice,
Thank
a leftist
God.
voice on the debate stage, I think that's a noble endeavor,
Holy
even
shit.
if it's not viable in this particular election.
Good
season. I
game.
agree. Cornel West probably not
They're still
gonna win
fighting
this
their dinos,
election,
pussies.
But I still think we have to start somewhere. I think we have to start somewhere. And
And
Cornel West
Skywave
a
is
pretty good
nice.
place
You have
start,
to wait
in my
until
opinion.
we're not under such threat, even if that means the rest of your life. Maybe you die waiting. Maybe your
But you just said
children,
that every
grandchildren.
Republican candidate is just as bad, if not worse, than Trump. So even if Trump wasn't the nominee, then when is that not what you
Not
said?
maybe 4, 8 years. Well, right now, sure, but give it time. Maybe the Republican Party shifts outward. Maybe they lose a ton of ground because their Nazi shit starts to weigh negatively on the American people. The time scales that we're dealing with here mean that maybe we just are
Krieger.
unsatisfied with our electoral reach for decades at a time.
It's always Krieger, Barrage.
I mean, so what? That doesn't mean we can't make
So what?
progress. So no, I mean it. So what? That doesn't mean we can't do stuff. That doesn't mean
It
we
means that
can't.
50% of the time a fascist
Zephyr
is
never
gonna
gets
become
Wait,
MVP.
no. That's not. If we
always
overwhelmingly
dying.
support the Democrats over the Republicans, we can push back the Republican Party. It doesn't
Vosh,
have to be a 50.
What? I see where you're coming from, but I just think that people like you, they often seemingly have so much more energy to direct against third-party voters than they have to direct towards efforts like ranked choice voting, which would eliminate the spoiler effect in the first place. Like, I seriously, when I listen to people like you that hold this philosophy, I seriously think you spend more time advocating against third-party voters than you spend advocating for ranked choice voting, which would get rid of the whole spoiler effect in the first place and neutralize
This might be good. I'll try this.
I'm a supporter of ranked choice voting, but right now it's not really on the docket. I mean, my primary concern is making sure that Joe Biden wins.
right,
That's not
well,
really
all
material
I
to
would-
that outcome.
Let's
I
try
feel
that
like we
out.
keep going back and forth, man, and I definitely understand where you're coming from. But
But
all I
he-
would
he
say
needs to
is
win.
that this.
He can't not win.
I would say that yes, Donald Trump needs to lose, but I would love to see more energy from people that feel like you do towards getting us to ranked choice voting than demonizing
It's
third-party
completely
voters.
immaterial to the modern. The shift to ranked choice voting, which would be a shift for our federal electoral system, would be this nationwide discourse that
Do
is
you think
going
that's
to
really
take.
more unachievable than Medicare for all or any of the other progressive priorities that we fight for?
I don't talk about Medicare for all right now. What do you?
So
Is
you
there a
don't think we
Medicare
should
for all
talk-
bill in the House?
We don't think we should talk about human rights atrocities like the death of 60,000 people a year due to lack of health insurance just
Sure.
because it's not viable.
You-
We can't talk about it.
You should talk about it, and I do talk about the need for there to be ranked choice voting, but I'm not going to act as though right now there's some kind of wedge or platform in which that can actually happen. I want to gradually shift.
Alright, let's
people's
try out Skywave
perspectives
with
on
the,
these issues so that
ether
if there is an
accelerator.
opportunity to
Incrementalism?
act on it, they then have the will to do so.
So it's just incrementalism. How is that even progressive?
Yeah, it's an electoral system. Incrementalism is the only thing possible within the system. Are you suggesting
that-
revolutionary violence?
What? No, we're not suggesting revolutionary
I've
violence.
got
I
like a
think
ton
this
of
is-
guns in my back room, so if it's kicking off now, I mean,
That's the thing. It's like I agree with you actually abstractly, Vosh, that maybe one of the only things that will ever lead to the kind of change that you and I and Gavin would envision, you know, if we were to start a country from scratch right, and, you know, envision it as a socialist utopia, we would never get there without a revolution of power structure, right? So in the same vein, Gavin and I are also interested in harm reduction. I think what it comes down to is that we're more willing to roll the dice. But
roll the dice on fascism, man.
I hear where you're coming back on it, which is why we've made the caveats lots of times that, you know, if you are in a swing state like Pennsylvania, you're going to have, you know, a decision on your hands to make. I'm pretty entrenched in the idea. Like I voted for Hillary Clinton and I voted for Joe Biden, and I feel like I got played twice. But Vosh, what would your final thoughts be, or whatever, you know, for maybe not for me and Gavin, but for the people listening, you want to sway?
I just think from a historical perspective, if one were to look at this in retrospect, the idea of we had two choices, one of them a continuation of neoliberal policies with incremental improvements at times, and the other being fascism in the end of our democracy. And I rolled the dice on a slight chance of possibly getting a slightly louder voice to the potential of a third-party candidate advocating for a system in which they would have a future chance of winning. It's such an esoteric and long shot take to weigh against something so important and meaningful right now. And the last thing I want to say is I don't want anyone to get the impression that anything that I'm saying is doomer, you know? As far as I'm concerned, I have like a melon baller, you know? And it balls melons, and somebody's coming up to me and they're like, okay, well, can you do heart surgery with it? I think we should do heart surgery. I'm like, balls melons. And they were like, you don't think that can be used to do heart surgery? What are you doomer? What do you think we can't do? Well, that's not what it's for. Electoralism is for suffering.
Get the fuck out of here, witch
and
doctor.
for
I got
keeping
this.
the worst candidates out. It's so
We
we
don't
can
need you.
suffer and hate life and this country, which is what a socialist should be doing all the time. If more radical action has to be taken, it won't be at the ballot box.
Yeah, well, to
Come
quote
on,
our
witch
friend
doctor.
Dafini, who was on our show yesterday, I think she said that basically what you just
All
said
right.
about electoralism, right? There's
can
not
double
much
up.
you can get done with it in any way, at least as far as a presidential election is concerned. But what it
get
does
this
provide
guy.
a great
Shit.
opportunity for is a
Doing a
mass
jerk.
education of the
is
American
that?
people. That's what Bernie Sanders proved, and I think that someone like Cornel West, who is undeniably an incredibly gifted communicator, capable of speaking to and reaching swaths of this country that are not on the left, that are not progressives. See his conversations with Joe Rogan, see his conversations with Tucker Carlson as an example
I got
of his
you, boys.
ability to reach those people and to communicate. I think that someone like that can at very least, lift the boats of activism. They can bring more attention towards the issues that do matter, and frankly, the
look at
human
my
rights
ass.
atrocities that both parties oversee, including the Democrats. And in my opinion, and this might be another slight area of disagreement, seemingly between our analysis, but
Oh, that's
in my opinion,
nice.
whether or not there's a bill for Medicare for all on the table or not, you don't stop talking about those tens of thousands of dead Americans that literally die every year, murdered by our government, state-sponsored violence due to the lack of health care. I don't think you stop talking about that.
Get in
I
the
don't
fight,
think you
boys.
Stop talking about the atrocities being, committed
Come
in
on.
places like Palestine, which both parties oversee. I don't think you stop talking about the ecocide and the drilling permits that Joe Biden has just approved, more so even than Donald Trump did. And if we have an opportunity to talk about
Oh,
those
now I
things
can catch
that
him
the
with it.
presidential election provides
Get
us,
over
if we have an
here.
opportunity
Get this health.
to bring those things up.
Damn,
and to,
bro, what you doing out
try
there?
to hold Biden accountable in the smallest possible way we can, then I think it's worth it. And honestly,
How did I hit like two guys with that?
Yeah, Gavin got pulled off at the stump. He was
yeah, sorry guys, my Mac keeps unplugging. But yeah, I mean, I guess that's what I would say, man. I guess that's what I would say. I certainly see where you're
God
coming
damn
at
it.
it from, and I think it's an interesting conversation. I truly do.
Oh, it is an interesting conversation. Because speaking of tens of thousands of dead Americans, just remember that there are tens of thousands of dead Germans killed in 1919, and the socialists of that country failed to understand their historical time and place and ground themselves to death against the SPD. We're very bad at knowing when it's our time and place to make change, and it's a dangerous gamble because when we're wrong, we all die first. That's how the poem begins, right? First they came for the communists, then the trade unionists. Yeah. So, just saying, be careful.
Sure. Thanks for coming on, Bosch. It was great chatting with you. I'm sure we'll do it again sometime. It was a pleasure.
I hope you both have a wonderful day. And it was. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure, man. Take it.
Take
Yeah,
care.
thanks, Vosh, and thanks everyone that tuned in. It was a great conversation, really important conversation, and yeah, genuine, sincere thank you, Vosh, for engaging and having the discussion.
Jesus Christ.
Of course. Y'all have a wonderful day. Got another debate to
Sweet.
Peace.
Good luck, man. We'll see you next time.
do. Well, we
Good shit.
had a conversation.
Got my shot off.
Sure.
My nut.
To be clear, just because I don't want anything that I say to get misconstrued, the corporate duopoly in America, the whole we have to choose between Republican and Democrat, is it's a very difficult thing to uproot because the system that we live within is so like structurally geared towards those outcomes that it's almost like a feature of the landscape. It's like the Rockies. It's as much a part of America as the swamps in Florida and the desert in California. It's so grounded, and I think it needs to change. But it's so
Bitch, back up.
structurally rooted that change is not. It's not going to like swing over in an election. It's going to be a process. But it's a process that's going to take a lot of time and forethought and concentration, and that can only happen in an environment where we're not constantly being threatened by fascists. I think that people are most open to growth and change when they're not under threat. I think the best historical analogy you could sort of pull there is that it's usually empires that are not at risk that grow to greatness. Like if you want to look at the Islamic Golden Age, or Rome, or ancient Greece, or Egypt, the times where you see this outpouring of,
Nice,
of,
got
of
two.
economic, social, cultural, artistic development is usually
The fuck?
after the fighting
all fell
stops
off the
or
ship.
slows down for a bit. Same with Japan. You
guys gotta get
Like
your
Japan
aim
had
right.
all these different kingdoms and shogunates fighting or whatever, but when things were unified under a central shogunate, the population boomed because people stopped fighting and people started producing a lot more art.
I accidentally
and things
healed
got
the,
overall a lot more complicated.
the Carnotaurus.
If the threat makes people focus first and foremost on preventing the threat from reaching us, And maybe we'll never make it so the Republicans are totally irrelevant or whatever, but we can at the very least not have the opposite party be Nazis, right? Like, that's the current, it's like the
Good shit.
it's like a coin flip right now between neoliberalism and like DeSantis every day
Get over
is
here,
like,
boys.
here are all these Nazis in my campaign.
Get a little
And
dance.
it's like, man, we
Oh,
could,
get hot
we
and
could do
cold.
better than that, I think.
Either I kill you, or I
It could be
tease
made
you.
weaker. I saw a lot of people in our chat who
Typical
thought that I
anime
was
waifu.
wondering about the fascist thing. I don't know what I need to do to get it across to
Somebody dropped out, what the
leftists
fuck?
what the stakes are. It's not just trans people, like they're the excuse, but do you still think the guests were egotistical and selfish? I mean, I disagree with them. I do like talking to the Vanguard boys, to be clear. I obviously disagree with them a lot, but in a sea of grifters and obviously insincere people, talking to two people who clearly believe what they say, even if I disagree with what they say, is refreshing and makes me feel like a human being rather than somebody shadowboxing with a crudely drawn caricature of an idea. I like that. No, I don't think Cornel West is a Republican plant. I just think that the Republicans recognize the fact that his candidacy is a threat to votes that could go to Joe Biden, so they're promoting him under the guise of populist. How do we get to a place where we no longer have to fear fascists? Went over a lot of people. Make really strong arguments about how Republicans are bad and their ideas are bad. The outcomes of their ideas are bad.
You gotta get birds. Good shit. Fucking birds, get over here. Get back here. Shit. Damn it. Had a hunter get in there. I'm trying here, guys. Gather up. Good shit. Damn. Shit. Who else is alive? Sorry, Krieger. Shit! Get him, bro. Good shit. Damn, that was rough. Better down, boy.
The best exo fighters in this world.
You know, I saw Ben Burgess doing this as well, and also getting kind of roasted by Juniper, the best poster on Twitter, IMO. I wish I could talk to Ben about this. I guess I could just DM him and ask. I guess I do have that power. That's a power that I have. Maybe I should. He wasn't really engaging with what Juniper said, though. So Anna Kasparian is doing the whole, like, I'm not leaving the left. I'm just going to focus on real issues, like economic stuff, and leave aside the petty, divisive identity politics, blah, blah, blah. And Ben Burgess is defending her, which is weird, because Ben Burgess is like a socialist. You know, I know he has class reductionist tendencies, but Ben Burgess is not like a liberal, right? But Anna Kasparian's at most a liberal, and is moving away from that too. So I don't know where the alignment is. And then Juniper asked, can you explain to me why trans people losing medical rights in states like Florida isn't a material issue? And Ben Burgess said, when on earth have I ever said such a thing? You're just making shit up. And then Juniper said, I was curious because you seem to be reducing what trans activists and people are talking about as, quote, identitarian scolding, as if Anna giving validity to right-wing framing of discourses of birthing people isn't identitarian. Her entire complaint comes from reactionary framing. Additionally, you are framing this as an issue of trans rights versus material issues when they were inextricably linked together, so I was wondering why you seem to separate them. And then Ben Burgess said, again, you're just making shit up. I never suggested it wasn't material. And then Juniper responded to that, and then Ben Burgess didn't respond to that. So it's like he's not even engaging with what she's saying, so I don't know what's going on. He's not even like engaging with the talking point here. I feel like you should always be really suspicious of lefties who go on the material issues diatribe, because all issues are material. There is no separation between identity and material issues, because people's identities are the axes along which they are materially discriminated against. You know, like, you can't argue, well, race isn't a material issue. What the fuck do you mean? Race is like the anchor around which like 98% of like coded economic discourse in this country takes place. What do you mean? Like, basically every economic policy that's ever been made since the 1950s has been in some way, shape, or form like affected by racial politics. There's no, I mean, before the 1950s as well, but still, you know, there's no meaningful separation here. Yeah. I hate that phrase.
How do I get this?
Don't care for it at all.
Oh, that medal's already maxed, but it's not as big as the other two.
Watch it, Lacan.
Why doesn't the medic get a big medal? What is this? What's going on here?
Go back
Kind
to
of discrimination?
Tell people that tell black people racism is serious. Tell them today. You mean material in the sense that the problem stemmed from something physical?
That one's not
No,
big
like,
either.
Okay.
What is
For
this?
some reason, and I don't know why this started, okay? Lefties started saying material issues as a way of linking their analysis to historical materialism. Apparently not realizing that historical materialism
Oh,
is just a
repairs medal. This
contrast
is the
to,
big one.
like the Hegelian
As
dialectic.
Scalpus?
And that means that in a
I
material
like the
sense,
plus,
they're
though.
literally just referring to
This one
facts
doesn't
of
look
the
like
world.
medical. It's
As in
just
facts of the world and the material holdings
bunch
of
of
different
lines.
economic classes are what determine the progress of
Oh, well.
history. That's historical materialism. So when they say material issues,
All right,
what
this
they
guy's
mean is
pretty
issues
funny.
happening in reality, which are all issues. There are no issues happening outside of reality. What does that mean? Like, I don't know. They say like material issues, meaning like gas prices or something. But from a materialist frame point, all of this is like, it's not as though Marxist analysis of history would discount race as an axis of change. Like, that Marx wrote about this, you know. So yeah, like I don't know why. Yeah. They issue, it's like, well, there's material issues and imaginary issues. There's no such thing as an imaginary issue. It's all material from a Marxist frame point. Material doesn't mean it has to have a physical. It's a misreading of the text. Okay, And I'm not normally the one to browbeat over theory, okay? But like, it's very weird to me because it seems like a misinterpretation that always is conveniently applied to distract people from like social issues. I thought material here meant issue related to everyday life. No, there's tons of stuff that even they would consider material that have nothing to do with everyday life, like say corporate tax law. And there's plenty of stuff that they would not consider to be material that does affect everyday life, like trans people in bathrooms, you know? Just whatever. For me, it just seems like a long-winded way for reactionary Marxists to go, oh, well, we don't have to care about this minority group because it's an identity thing, you know? It's like a theory cloak that they can throw over an issue so they can go like, ah, well, you know, we're concerned with the real issues. Except by real, I mean Marxist, and by Marxist, I mean my interpretation of the text. I don't think that Ben Burgess is like super reactionary or whatever. I guess, I mean, he does have class reductionist tendencies though, so I don't know. What is not a material issue then? From a Marxist framework, anything that affects the world materially is a material issue, like literally anything. A gender identity in a vacuum in one's head is not a material issue because it's purely in the head. But then if there's like public discourse or debate over the nature of gender and the social meaning of that role, that is now a material issue because it's affecting the dynamic between individuals and class, right? You should just don't, the term material issues should not actually be used as like an anti-identitarian talking point. It doesn't track. Keep in mind, again, the term material in the Marxist context is just a contrast to the Hegelian dialectic, okay? Hegel, when he presented his dialectic, was arguing that synthesis was achieved between iterations of people's ideologies.
I'm
That
killing her,
society
Leviathan.
was
Give
all
me some
about having an
special.
ideology
Oh,
and having
yes.
that idea challenged and reified in different directions until the internal contradictions result in some superior conclusion, you know, synthesis, right? Thesis, counter-thesis, synthesis, right? So that's the Hegelian dialectic. It's focused on
play with that eye.
ideas. So a Hegelian might say, you know, well, we had an initial idea, right, which was American white supremacy, where white people are the only ones who can vote and own everything. But then we have a counter-idea,
Not
which is the idea
achieved.
of, like, all men being created equal. So the contradiction between these two ideas clash against each other until eventually we arrive at synthesis, which is racial equality. And then Marx was like, that's fucking stupid, dumbass. Hegel, stupid-ass piece of shit. Why did I listen to your lectures? Why did I read your shit? Ideas aren't what evolve. It's the material relations of the classes that evolve. People
need a
in
tank.
America
Somebody get a
didn't
tank.
get racial equality because the idea evolved. It's because different groups had different levels of power. They competed and fought.
We
and
got
it was
two
the material
vigilantes. One of you.
engagement
Come on.
between those groups that
Get your
allowed
shit
for that.
together.
We never would have had racial equality in the United States if it had been materially beneficial for all parties
All right, we
involved
don't need
to
a tank.
maintain the oppression of black people. It was through the power and prominence of black people and the split between the North and the South, another material issue, and like so on and so on. And these things arose. These things brought about class conflict and literal warfare, literal military conflict.
Oh,
And
yes.
that's what brought us eventually to what we're talking about today. You know, you can
We're gonna
look
fight
at
the
the history
Gundam.
of racial equality in
Oh,
the United
yeah.
States, and so much of the reason why the Civil Rights Act got passed. This is why it's bullshit when people say, you know who gave black people rights in America? White people. So maybe they should be thankful. If you look at the reason why things shifted, black people didn't get rights in America because white people just grew more enlightened with time. There was fighting over it. Internal and external pressure pushed against existing systems and eventually broke and bent things until
Yeah, we need
racial
more maps
equality
like
was a
this.
more amenable idea. It was the material
I should just
result
make it
of
like a
conflict.
digital,
A good example of this would be the
digital
fact that the
island
Soviet Union put a lot of pressure
for
on
us
the
to
United
fight King
States
Kong.
abroad by accusing the United States of being racist. The Soviet Union, which was also racist, mind you, would publish international propaganda lambasting America for its racism against black people, with the goal of alienating America from third world nations that were sympathetic to socialist ideals. So one of the reasons why American politicians grew more insistent on the idea of maybe having a little more racial equality was because it was losing them ground in the international war against communism, because other countries were like, why would we side with America? They're fucking racist, you know? They wouldn't like us. They wouldn't like us for our skin color, you know? So that's not like the idea growing, you know? That's material conflict that pushes forward the dynamic. Of course, micromanagement. Yeah, 100%. Black soldiers fighting and dying in World War I and World War II were expressions of their, investment in, of the American ideals, their participation in the nation as a whole. Look, okay, I'm sorry, I'm going off on a whole tangent here, okay? The point that I'm trying to get at is that Hegel is dumb and he writes too much, and he's probably an incel, and I don't care. And materialism is good. All right, sorry, okay. Too much. Wrote too much. Ooh. All right, all right. Quick show, quick show. Hold on, hold on. Wow. Yeah. Hungry for foot? Uh-huh. Is he edible? Yes. One day we will eat him. I love him. Ooh, look at how comfy he is. Alright, be free. Be free, you little. How old is he? Like 3 months. Yeah, I heard that Tater Tots passed away. Very unfortunate. Okay.
No.
Alright. He do be zipping. Not yet, Hudson the Gamer. Nice, Sully.
Oh, there's the hammer.
So what you're saying is that
Good shit.
Stalin single-handedly ended racism? Well, the big conflict with racial politics that I'm referring to was mostly a
Hammer
post-Stalin
lady,
thing.
stay by roadblock. God damn it. Hey, Vigilant with the hammer, stay right behind roadblock. He can protect against the missiles with a shield.
New statement.
Yep, there you go.
Rest.
Check.
Donald Trump prepared Thursday to travel to Washington to plead not guilty to charges that he tried
Dodge.
to steal the 2020 election. His third court arraignment in 4 months.
Dodge. Oh. God, his dodge is great. So much better than Zephyr's.
His arraignment in D.C. is scheduled for 4 p.m. That's 1 p.m. over in my time, or in 1 hour and 17 minutes.
I got it.
And they indicted me.
Let's go. Oh.
Less than 2 hours before his anticipated arrival,
Fuck.
members of the press continue to overwhelmingly outnumber protesters in front of the courthouse.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah. Guys,
Up.
this is one of the reasons why I feel like this case might actually have Donald Trump be cooked. Not only is the judge
Shit.
like an Obama-appointed
thanks.
anti-Jan 6 judge, but also, you guys know the jury pool is going to be from D.C., right? D.C. is like 92% Democrat. It's the most Democrat stronghold.
No,
that
not yet.
exists. Like, it's the most Democratist of places. So the jury pool and just the general environment is as anti-him as it's possible to be. Yeah, hold on, wait. 2020 election, DC vote count.
Oh, he's knocked out. Good, beautiful.
Here we go. 2020 in the district.
Thank you
of
for the
Columbia.
attack boost and the health.
Yeah, look at that. 92% went to Joe Biden. 317,000 votes
Bitch.
went to him, and 18,000 went to Trump. It's 92.15% to 5.4%. It is the most Democrat-heavy stronghold. See, here in the dark blue, you have the heavily Democrat areas, which are 90 to 100% Biden. And then over here, you have the less heavily Democrat areas, which are only 80 to 90%, you know.
God, they're
I thought
fucking
people in
destroying
DC
this
don't
shit.
get to vote. No, they get to vote. They have electors. They just don't have a state government, and there's some other stuff. It's complicated. DC needs to be a state.
Alright, I'm on the watch. Let's
I
do
wonder
it.
why Republicans don't want DC to be a state, because it's 2 guaranteed blue
Can I
senators.
jump
They
on
really
top
don't
of
want
shit?
that.
I can. How do I do? God damn it.
I am now going to Washington, D.C. to be arrested for having challenged a corrupt, rigged, and stolen election, he said in an all-caps post on Truth Social. It is a great honor because I am being arrested for you. Make America great again.
Bitch.
He's having fun.
More?
They indicted me.
He
God. Hope they take his picture this time. Oh yeah, did you guys see this? Last stream after
God
RB
damn it, where the
down
fuck are you disappearing to,
our
bro?
our potted fake plant. I did everything
Oh, nice.
right, and they indicted me when I caught
They
the criminal
indicted
at the crime scene. Even. Ooh. Was that the Lego plant? No, thankfully. One of the DC sheriffs said there would be a mugshot. I thought it was the Georgia court said that if he was arraigned in state court, there would be one. I don't remember the DC.
Oh, fuck
sheriff
your
saying
shit up.
that, though I hope
Sorry,
he did.
bro.
I mean, that'd be nice.
And when do I get that exosuit? Shit looks nice.
Objection, Artemis is innocent. Denied! Okay. Holy shit, he's so fucking distracting. Oh my god. It's like a little bullet. Yeah? Sorry, I love him.
Initiating control override. Removing safety limiters. Annihilation module online.
Question, even if Trump gets convicted on at least one of the 4 cases he's got, we both know the Supreme Court is going to try to let him off the hook. What do you think will be the political fallout if they do that? Okay, I will admit to a gap in my knowledge here. I don't know how far Trump could appeal in the DC case. So he could appeal to a circuit... Jesus Christ. So he could appeal to a circuit court, right? But then if there was a retrial, what, he could go up one further? I don't know what the, I don't know how far that could go, exactly. There he is. Chat is so stupid, that's not how it works. Yeah, I'm not actually sure what the rules are for appealing court cases. Here. How do appeals work? This is good to know. We should find this out. The appellate court. Okay.
Let's go.
About the U.S. Court of Appeals. In the federal system, 94 district courts are organized into 12
Nice.
circuits or regions. Each circuit is a court of appeals, review case, the U.S. brings the number of federal appellate courts to 13. Okay. The Supreme Court of the U.S. hears about 100 to 150 appeals of the more than 7,000
Oh shit, we got a charge.
every year. That means the decisions made by the 12 Circuit Court of Appeals across the country and federal circuit court in the last sort of thousands of cases. So in order for it
Oh,
to be
God
appealed
damn
to
it, they're all the
Supreme
way over
Court,
there.
the appellate
Oh, well.
court would have to accept it
We can shoot
and
'em.
then toss it up. Like the Court of Appeals
Ignore the
has
T-Rex.
to approve
We
the
can't-
appeal.
we
It
can't
doesn't
handle
just
'em.
automatically get accepted in the Supreme
Oh, I
Court.
can't, I'm not hitting him. Oh, fuck.
Appellate.
Get him, Barrage. He's not gonna fuck me up.
Unofficial
I got
majority
this.
report raid. Hi guys. in yet another
Dumbass.
example of my political inferiority to Sam Cedar, I don't really know how appeals work, like in a court, so we're learning about that. Also, my new kitten is zooming around behind me. Look at this. Look. What are you doing? It looks like he is sniffing
Good
Keimer
shit,
from
good
Dora
shit.
Hater Road. What are
Where's the
you-
T-Rex
What
at?
are you doing? Stop that. Fighting is nice. Stop that. Go down. Go down. Down.
Come on, where you at, big boy?
All right, Godspeed.
God damn it.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Wow. Oh, now he's eating my earbud. An appeal is available if, after a trial in the U.S. District Court, the losing side has issues with the trial court proceeding, the law that was applied, or how the law was applied. Generally, on these grounds, litigants have the right to an appellate court review of the trial court's action in a criminal case. The government does not have a right to appeal.
Good shit. Thank you, guys.
There we
Oh,
are.
we got the
Sorry.
hammer. Let's
Looks
go.
like we had internet hiccup. We back?
Fucking bird.
I thought chat was being quiet for a second. All right, Marco.
Good shit. Good
There
shit.
we go.
Where's the other hammer? Let's go.
Thought the cat had turned off the PC. Nah, just a little internet hiccup. Seems fine.
Let's go.
So is there a way of knowing? Can we find out what the appellate court is, or would be, for his DC case? Like which group of judges would oversee it, or is it too wide of a pool to really know? I'm saying appellate. Appellate? Appellate?
No!
Appellate. Appellate?
I think
Like
he's gonna
that?
pop off.
Oh,
Good
I hate
shit.
that. Appellate. I hate saying that. Ugh. DC Appellate Court.
Deadeye is
District of
so
Columbia Court
good,
of
man.
Appeal,
This
alright.
dodge.
Appellate. Yeah, it, not 8. Why'd somebody say 8? Appellate. That's what I've been saying.
Shit, my bad, guys.
Appellate. I don't know why people are mad at me. Appellate. That's fine. Appellate. You are always guaranteed a first appeal. Subsequent ones must be accepted by higher courts. You're guaranteed the first one? So then what would the trial go to then, if not the existing judge?
Where are you going, bro? Just trying to get a better view. Good shit. Let me get some shields. All the baddies are dead. Oh, fuck. Oh, nice.
4 of the 9 current U.S. Supreme Court justices were previously judges on the D.C. Circuit. John Roberts, Clarence Thomas, Brett Kavanaugh, and Ketanji Brown Jackson. Nice. This is for civil, not criminal. No way for it to go to the Supreme Court, to my knowledge. I thought the government can't appeal on a criminal case, but in this case it would be the defendant appealing.
No! Oh, fucking bitch.
Wait, what was the question? I don't know. Chad is
Got some good
confusing
damage
the
in
hell out of
before.
me.
Oh, we're gonna have to charge up.
Trump DC case, what if he appeals? You guys aren't being helpful at all.
Yeah, we go to any green circle available. Ooh.
Appeals court declines to rule if Trump was acting in official capacity when he allegedly defamed E. Jean Carroll.
What are we doing now?
Okay.
Why are we putting up shields?
That's not really relevant to this, I don't think.
We're gonna have to charge up something, right? The 4 fields.
Court of Appeals is authorized to review all
Shit!
final orders, judgments, and specified interlocutory orders to the Supreme Court District of Columbia. Court has jurisdiction to review contested case decision as administered.
Trying to get some points. Killing dinos. Need my platinum. Ooh.
Trump can take it to the Supreme Court, but the court can decide to reject him, which they will. Okay, so what
Jesus
makes you
Christ.
confident that the Supreme Court
It's going fucking.
wouldn't
This
just
is
accept
nuts.
the case and rule
Who can I
illegitimately
shoot?
in his favor because it's ruled by a bunch of high priests?
God
Trump
damn,
can
can't
appeal after the
reach.
trial, but it's a matter
Please don't
of
think.
appellate judges. Separate people decide it's warranted. If they decide the trial was fine, no longer need to appeal, then Trump goes to jail. The Supreme Court can't. Yeah, that was my impression. That you don't get one free appeal that doesn't go through the appellate court. You still have to go through that.
Oh boy!
For all of them.
Shit. This fucking asshole.
It can only go to SCOTUS if they have a constitutional challenge. Okay, but is that one of those rules that can be enforced by another body, or is that one of those things where it's like, you know,
Oh boy. Somebody gonna hit
they
me.
don't do that, but they actually could?
What the fuck? Oh, I was.
I'm just
shit, he
trying to
killed
find
me.
out how
Fire guy.
bulletproof this is, because if it's like the Supreme Court would never do that, but they
Oh, look at all those
technically
dinos I'm missing
can,
out.
then that's very
Thank you
different
so much,
from
Vigilant.
SCOTUS
Oh,
does
fuck.
not hear criminal cases.
I'm coming back.
Ever?
Were they on this side? Give me some
There's
dinos.
only one Supreme Court criminal trial in history. Okay, so they can hear criminal cases. They just don't normally do it. This was back all the way in 1909. So they could do it.
I just want to kill dinos. Where they at? Let me go to A.
They don't try criminal cases, they could hear appeals about them. Right, so the most that could happen would be an appellate court. No, the Supreme Court
bitch,
would
get the
allow
fuck
the
outta here,
appeal, or an
bro.
appellate court would deny the appeal, and they'd take it to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court would grant the appeal, and then it would go to another
Phew,
court, and
jeez.
the whole thing would go on about again. Hello, Boobin. You want to climb my lap?
Who the fuck is killing me?
Hello. Yeah, they wouldn't hold the trial with the Supreme Court. They don't do that there, but they would like
Good shit.
potentially rule for an appeal. That would be the end of the country. I'm not asking whether or not it's likely. I'm asking whether or not it's like procedurally possible. Can you?
Is he gonna hit me with something?
What are you doing? Why is your
Shit.
butt hanging off the edge? Go. Good Lord.
God damn it. Get the fuck out of here, bro.
Yeah.
Where you going?
Got any plans?
Shit.
Just,
Yo!
Uh-huh.
At least I got my grenade off.
Okay.
Oh, I'm missing all the dinos. Thank you so much.
Son of a bitch. Stream's still up. Okay, he just hit the button that turned off both my monitors. Okay. Just making sure.
Good shit, good
I
shit.
didn't even know there was a button for that, to be honest with you. I don't know what button that was. I have no idea. It just cut the title card for a second. Oh, okay. It shut off both of my monitors. What button does that? I'm not going to start randomly pressing buttons to find out. Okay. Now he's trying to eat my yogurt. Jesus Christ. Ruben. Reuben sandwich. Reuben sandwich. Hello, Reuben. Boobin. Little Boobin. Little Boobin. You have to stop. I have to make money. Buy your cat food. In your cat sense, you can shit in it. Oh my god.
Yeah?
He scampered off.
God, I did not hit them. Fuck. Shit.
Yeah, he fell 6 inches. Simba! Oh my god. Okay. For your appeals question, 2 hosts from the 5-4 podcast. Love the 5-4 podcast. Had a live chat on YouTube about the likelihood of Trump going to prison. Oh, fuck. Can we listen to that, like, purely for info? The 5-4 podcast is a good podcast. It's lawyers talking. This is an advertisement, okay? I'm doing it. I'm content stealing. Advertise. Ad,
Oh,
ad,
at least we
for
got
them.
him.
5-4
Good
ad,
shit.
Ad, hello, ad. Okay, hold on. It's an hour 40.
Oh shit.
God damn it, it's an hour 40. Let me see if I can get
Thank
like,
you
the
so
core
much, Witch
info.
Doctor. Thank
Like,
you.
maybe they'll open with the
You
conclusion
king.
and then they'll elaborate.
Oh
on
shit.
it.
Oh shit.
Hey everybody.
We're here. Full disclosure, Michael and I thought we were live for the last 3 minutes.
I
I've
would
been
say
there.
8 minutes. We went live right on the dot.
No, we were
Good
gist
shit.
of the
Oh my god.
indictment is the fake elector scheme.
That's
Right? The basic idea
Whew.
being that in a normal presidential election, you have electors who are who represent each state, and they get certified.
Yeah, I
They
know
trot on
Roadblock
over
got
to
the
Washington,
MVP.
DC, and they cast their vote for whoever their state voted for. And John Eastman and company over in the Trump camp thought, hey, what if
Skip to 112.16 for appeals talk. Thank you so much.
What's good is that, you know, if Trump tries to do like interlocutory appeal or whatever and tries to delay this and send it up to the Supreme Court and kill it before it even happens, I don't think the Supreme Court is going to want to make, should the Trump indictment go forward, be like the central question of the 2024 election. So I think they will be very wary to drag this out further, and like let it wait.
That is a good point. Since Trump is the only Republican candidate who's capable of beating Biden, having like an interminable ongoing. Well, then again, like if Trump loses, then that's it too, right? I mean, better to drag it out indefinitely than it would be to just send Trump to prison.
Until after the election, because then you're just sending up the bat signal to every resist lib in the fucking country that they need to vote, or Jack Smith will be fired, and all these charges will be dropped.
Mike, I'm gonna run to the bathroom and refresh my drink, and then maybe.
My bad, it was 118, not 112. All right, well you got close. Okay, hold on.
It depends on the court's appetite, right? I think that they could, depending on the political context, see an opportunity, or see something that they
Oh
very much
shit,
want to
Nimbus.
pass on.
Yeah.
But
Good
the
shit.
problem for them is that we're in DC, which means that we're in the DC circuit, which is liberal, makes it a little more likely that they want to fuck around a little bit, you know, stick their hands in there, fiddle with some stuff, see how it goes, which is so
Ooh,
exciting.
gold. Give me those coins.
As the proprietors of a Supreme Court podcast, it's hard not to be like, ooh,
Ooh.
it would be great. It would be great
Thank
to
you.
see some shit elevated. Interlocutory appeal, or even more
Post-conviction.
exciting, post-conviction.
Post-convicted.
Some post-conviction appeals. Oh my god, dude! Just Sam Alito just like writing a concurrence about how much he loves Donald Trump. I would lose my mind. It would.
Yeah.
what else can you want as a Supreme Court podcast?
Yeah.
It just
I'm taking from their tone that they think it's possible that there be meddling in this case, but they don't think there's a very high likelihood of it leading to a change in the outcome. That's what their tone suggests to me.
feels perfect. And I think that it's very likely that this reaches the court in some way. There are so many novel issues. This stuff doesn't happen. Like, yes, these charges have been brought before. People have been convicted related to January 6th on some of these charges. But the context of a president trying to execute a almost completely novel scheme to sort of like intercept the electoral college, it's unique, and uniqueness brings unique legal questions, and unique legal questions bring the Supreme Court. So
Yeah.
I think it's coming.
Yeah. Oh, I did want to respond to one other shitty right-wing defense of Trump, which
Okay, so yeah, okay. It seems like they don't even think it would be politically beneficial for the court to attempt to do that. Yeah, I guess. Because it would be like the bat signal for resist libs. I mean, it should be, right? Like, that's a pretty good reason to get people off their ass, you know? Trump attempted a coup, and then the court that he mostly appointed, or that slants in his direction, like, tries to get him off. Like, you know. Yeah. Vosh trials won't start until mid to late 2024. None of this matters. Wait, is that wait, they haven't set a trial date for the DC charges, have they? The later trial date is for the Florida mishandling of classified documents thing. I thought that there wasn't an official trial date for this yet.
Welcome to my research facility. Every month is T-Rex Awareness Month. Many entities reward a go-getter attitude, a T-Rex.
Yeah, I guess so, Quoteth, yeah.
Collaborate with teammates and concentrate damage on them. Remember, a team lift makes
Isn't the con party divided between pro-Trump and anti-Trump plans? There's not much anti-Trump. Thanks, Katosha, for the cute art. I'm sure chat does think of themselves this way. Looks like I'm doing something else here. There isn't, they'll set it at the arraignment. Yeah,
don't
the
need
arraignment
two
is
witch
in
doctors.
less than 1 hour, or it begins in less than 1 hour. So I assume we would be finding out about the trial date, like,
Yeah, who knows?
really soon. Yeah.
I think everybody's trying to level up their witch doctors, get ready for the alpha
More
variants.
good GOP news drop, by the way. Yeah, I saw this. Michigan's Republican Party is broke. Minnesota's was until recently down to 5381 in the bank, and in Colorado, the GOP is facing eviction from its office this month because it can't make rent. That is very funny. That is extremely funny. I had wondered about like the coffers of the GOP. This is another thing that that Trump has been bad for, like for the GOP long term, is that a ton of the money the GOP has fundraised has shifted from the party to Trump. You know, like, because before money would be shifted around a lot more than it is now, but now that Trump has a cult of personality where he's doing these nonstop fundraising drives, a ton of the money that would otherwise go to the GOP is being hoarded into like Trump's personal, you know, get me out of campaign finance hell, help me pay off my debts land. It's kind of siphoned wealth away from the rest of the party, not to I think a huge degree, but at least to some degree. And I think it's probably skewed them a little bit in the state budget offices.
Nice, he got his Moonblade. Good shit.
I guess.
Oh,
we'll see.
Ankylosaurus.
No, I wasn't Dynasmash. That's way too long. This also allows him to retain control over the.
How do
party
I?
via
Why do I
control
keep
via
pressing? I'm
money.
trying to press the
Same thing is
Ankylosaurus.
happening to the Arizona GOP. Oh shit! Arizona's GOP went all in on Trump's big lie. Now it's broke. Losing elections, registered voters, and all its money hasn't scared the Grand Canyon State's Republican Party into acting normal and sane. Hell yeah! How broke are they? Less than 50,000 in cash.
Good,
as of
thank you,
March
Raptors,
31st? 4 years
for
earlier,
fucking up
it
my
posted
kill.
770,000. Oh shit! The party blew 300,000 on legal consulting, much of which focused on overturning Trump's 2020 defeat. Dude, the Republican Party is literally like carrion that's being picked apart by vultures, and the vultures are grifter lawyers who are pretending to be super far right so they can make billions of dollars challenging the election results, you know? Rudy Giuliani or whatever, like this whole class of like, yeah, we're going to unseat the DC establishment and defeat them who are trying to corrupt white America. And then they're just like, they exist to be paid 6 figures for 1 month of work, sit in a court and lose every case they have, you know? Yeah, they're being bled dry. No, I think so. Yeah, Bolshevik Y2K. It is overplaying their hand. Minnesota GOP imploded due to Joe Biden winning, idiot spending, and sex scandals. Nice. Indicted on federal sex trafficking charges, as one is. Pile-on ensued.
How did I not hit more?
Retaliatory workplace, mismanaging party finances, squashing transparency. Woo! Hey, it sure would be nice, you know, if Michigan and Minnesota just became blue states. How cool would that be? Wouldn't that be nice? I think that'd be super cool, personally. I think that'd be phenomenal. Are they not? Michigan? Eh. Here, hold on. I never remember. Minnesota. I just don't think about Minnesota, guys. If you're from Minnesota, I'm really sorry. 2020 presidential vote count. It was 52 to 45. That's still definitely swing state territory, right?
God damn it, I missed him.
Maybe not. I feel like that is. Yeah, within a 7 point, I would say so. That's, yeah. 7 points is a lot, but it's not like insurmountably a lot. I mean, Florida has shifted way more than 7 points in the past 20 years. I'd say that's swing state territory. And Michigan's been closer. Texas is within that range. Yeah, isn't it? Yeah, look, in Michigan, it was off by a 3-point balance. Okay,
We
3
almost got
points
it.
is swing state territory.
Good shit.
100%. Absolutely it is. So if Michigan shifted to be permanently blue, that'd be super cool, in my opinion. How close was Texas? What were they at? 10, 12 points? I forget. It was more than 7.
I was really fucking up that last round.
Whoa! I must have been thinking of Florida. Dudes! Texas is
Oh, we gotta kill
5.5.
snipers. Where
Okay,
they
so
at?
yeah. If Minnesota has a 7-point lead and that's swing state, then the 5.5 lead the Republicans
coming
have in
all around
Texas is absolutely
Go, boys.
Lexus incoming. Well, I regret to inform you that the Texas GOP still has money. I think we would know if the Texas GOP ran out of money.
Where's the snipers?
Bosh, they read your drift. I'm just looking at popular vote.
Yeah, let's go barrage. Oh shit, yeah. Okay.
Imagine if Debs won Texas. It's not undoable, you know? I actually think, I remember there was a paper, not a paper, but like a news article that I read, that if Democrats had as good of a reputation with Latin Americans as they did with Black Americans, then it would be over for Texas.
Fuck it.
You
I
know?
want my kills.
Then Texas would be Blexus for all time, I think. Or at least it would be close enough that it would be like a real swing state, like a real nail biter, you know? Unfortunately, Latin Americans shifted right over the past 8 years, like proportionally, so we'll have to see how that goes.
How the fuck?
The GOP has lost cat turd. Dear loser Republican Party, you have officially pushed us too far with your weakness. I, along with millions of others, will never vote for your party again. All right, I'll retweet this. Thank you. It still says retweet here, but on my phone it says repost. You are spineless, worthless, neocon, do-nothing cowards. You give zero value to your base. Stop sending me requests to give you money. You'll never get a dime from me. After 40 years, I'll be registered as an independent this week. Fantastic. Good luck winning in the future. This is because Elon Musk did not restrict his shadow ban enough times. Elon Musk only replied directly to him 417 times when he actually made 493 appeals to him, and that's not enough, so he's changing parties. I'll vote for Trump, but never one of you
I got you,
useless cowards
T-Rex.
again. Save your breath.
Dumbass.
This will be a vote for Democrats. What difference does it make? They're actually arresting their political opponents, and you won't give Adam Schiff a $5 fine or impeach anyone for anything you're utterly useless. Yeah, independent.
He tries to jump
open
for me, I'm gonna
parentheses, Nazi,
dodge out.
exactly. Hey, folks, remember, I've always been a huge supporter of voting third party. As long as you're a Republican, okay? As long as you're a Republican, I am a massive advocate for destabilizing the corporate duopoly. Go right ahead.
Oh shit.
Go right ahead. I wouldn't bet at RoboCard, man. I don't think Texas is going to go blue in 2024. I think it could go blue in the future, but, you know, we're a bit of work away from that. Do you think we'll
Good
see a
shit.
drop in voter turnout among Republicans or Dems? I think we might see equal or slightly less
Man,
turnout
fuck the
for
enemy
Republicans,
team.
but I expect
That
a
was
higher
good.
turnout for Democrats, personally.
That was just fun.
I guess we'll have to see. I can't predict the future, you know, I don't want to hype people up too much. Chat, I see your messages. I'm focusing on one thing at a time. Do you think Ted Cruz will lose in 2024? Alarm bells for DeSantis. Pence falls behind and Biden stays frugal. Takeaways from new campaign finance reports. The Florida governor, DeSantis, raised $20 million, a strong total, but his campaign is burning through cash at a rapid rate, spending nearly $8 million since he entered the contest in late May. All 8 million of those went to that one Sonnengrad Nazi Wojak edit. That was the consultancy fee for that one was a real wallet buster. Travel and payroll expenses each topped 1 million, more than 800,000 went to digital fundraising consulting, according to the campaign's report. DeSantis, the funny thing is, DeSantis is not only fucking himself in terms of like wasting money on a losing presidential campaign. I think he's also done. Like, I think I don't think he can be governor for much longer. Florida has the highest inflation rate in the country right now. Rent prices in Miami and other major Florida cities are skyrocketing. He gambled all of it.
Oh shit.
On, like,
Goddamn.
bullshit while the economy crumbled. I need you guys to understand, because it sounds so insane that it sounds like a joke, okay? Thanks to the increasing hard-hitting consequences of climate change, several like property insurance companies pulled their plans for Floridians. Hundreds of thousands of Floridians lost their plans for insurance protection on like houses and stuff. And DeSantis's finance guy accused them of being woke, and that's why they were leaving. Imagine being a Florida voter, Republican or Democrat, and then like losing your insurance, and then it's because you look at the guy
There's one
above you, the
dumbass
guy you
bird.
voted for. It's because he said they were woke. I mean, like, it's insane, you know. I think he's really going to fuck over the right in Florida. I don't know. Maybe Cuban Americans might just vote in another guy. I don't know.
Damn it.
Yeah, facetious. Why would a business want to be headquartered in Florida? The state's going to be underwater, like, pretty soon. Fuck that. Here's that article. as
What
a
the
reminder.
fuck?
Yes.
Getting gunned down here.
Florida GOP outdoes DeSantis, calls insurer the woke Bud Light of insurance companies. DeSantis cabinet
I
member or
knew it.
whatever.
I was spamming that dodge.
I can't talk today, man.
Knew they were gonna shoot at me.
DeSantis ally when he sees company doing something he doesn't
Thank
like.
you, bro.
Getting some big Bud Light
man.
vibes off of this one. This sadness. That's true. That's what he's feeling right now.
This sadness.
This is actually your average Florida home. And they're not insured anymore either because the insurance company
He's gonna
sold it.
bust your shit down. Yep.
Wow, nice links, guys. DeSantis was majorly violating election funding laws too, we know from the car crash. Wow, a Republican engaging in financial
What the
corruption.
fuck
This is
did I hit?
news to me. I'm really taken aback by this. Tennessee car crash involving 4 vehicles in Ron DeSantis' motorcade revealed his campaign has misused government vehicles by using cars owned by the state of Florida in his presidential run. A report
What the
claims,
fuck?
Dude, it's great.
Guess I got the
Man,
defense.
I hate fascism, man, but you gotta love fascists. No one's
Thank
better
you.
at tearing themselves apart. They are, to a man, too stupid, zealous, corrupt, self-interested.
What the fuck do I keep hitting?
and,
I think I shot right below his neck.
To like maintain any kind of long-term strategy or plan. It's fucking incredible. It's so good, man. Holy shit, I love
Bro,
it.
keep your head
It's
still,
too
man.
good. Do you think DeSantis will lose the presidency and re-election for governor if he does? I don't think DeSantis will be governor again, or he's not going to be president. I don't think he can be governor again. I don't think it's happening. He's term limited. Oh right, well he's term limited. Oh no, you're right. Okay, then sorry. In addition to him, obviously not being able to be governor again, also I think he's going to really fuck over the next guy's chances. You know? That's also a problem with being like a personality cult where you lead mostly off of yourself and
Shit,
not off
enemy
of a
dino.
certain set of ideals. There's not much in the way of like legacy, you know? Oh man. Great news. Great news. Great news. I love looking at shit like this. Will he have a chance in 2028 for president? No. He will never be president.
Fuck.
He cannot be president. He doesn't have the
Get him, boys, get him.
He can't be president.
Dumbass. Fuck off. Dummy bitch.
This
And they're still
article was
fighting.
from
Let's
July
go.
10th, so like 3 weeks ago or whatever.
I think
Florida
they
is
already-
now
oh, no.
America's inflation hotspot.
Yeah, they're ahead of us.
The Miami Fort Lauderdale.
Oh,
West
we got a
Palm Beach
special
area has
mission.
The highest inflation rate of metro areas.
Okay.
With more than 2.5 million residents.
Damn, when am I
With
gonna
a
get my kill 100,000 dinos
9%
trophy?
inflation rate for the 12 months. That's not even 1 month. That's an average over the year, ending in April. Holy shit!
Fuck, man. God damn it, stupid ass dino.
So if you made exactly 100K at the beginning of that year-long period, at the end you're functionally making 90K in terms of purchasing power. Jesus Christ! More than double the national average of 4%, and now the national average is lower, I think, or like the median. Jesus, Minneapolis has an inflation rate of 1.8%. Oh my God. Yeah, housing costs are skyrocketing. Wait, hold on. Florida rent costs. It's been insane how much it's gone up. Florida's average rent showed a percentage increase
shit.
from March 2020 to March 2023 of... Chat, I want you to guess a number. In percent, how much over 3 years did rent raise on average in the entire
Holy
state of Florida?
shit.
45.77%. For the entire state, over 3 years, a nearly 50% increase in rent. Average rent has gone from 1,459 to 2,127. Wait, is that a 50% increase? Oh, it is. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Sorry. Doing the math backwards. How the fuck did he drop the ball that hard? Well, Florida has been seeing a population increase for a while, but like the thing is, you know
The
how
fuck?
California, Oregon, Washington, New York, and all the other coastal states with big cities are unlivable because everything is so expensive? That's not because they're blue
Yep,
states.
don't get to finish the
That's
mission
just
because
what
the enemy
happens in big
PvP. Let me
popular
see 1
cities.
second.
It could be fixed with good housing policy. I don't want to say it's unfixable, but like it's the same problem. So a bunch of people move over to Florida, and what happens? The same damn thing. It doesn't help that Florida's economy is so heavily
Yep,
impacted by
we went
and
from 2
reliant
minutes to
on,
19 seconds.
tourism.
Great, very
Because
generous
the more
time.
tourists you have,
Can't just
the
let us
more
finish
of
our
your
fucking
popular
game.
areas get filled up with Airbnbs and
Ah,
hotels, which even further
this
like
is so
puts
fucking
pressure on
stupid.
the rising prices. Oh, retirees as well. Yeah, as well.
At least I got a lot of kills. How many kills do
There's
I
no
get?
income tax in Florida, which also pulls a lot of people in. Hey,
Dino
there's no
damage.
income tax in Washington either. Just saying.
Where's the kills? I want to see my kills. God damn it.
Jesus Christ. Love to be in Florida.
God damn it, that was so
Leprosy
fucking
cases.
whack.
Love to be in Florida.
Fuck that shit, man.
What is this?
Just came here to let you know that you'll never be our president. You're just another establishment little bitch. Thank you.
Well, okay, let's just, some people.